Upgrading the wheels on your road bike is probably the easiest way to unlock more performance, lower the weight and get better looks. And this is my £500 CAAD 12 that I bought second hand, and today I'm going to see what difference and how much faster I can make it with some better wheels. I have a £500 wheel set and a £1,300 carbon wheel set, and today we're going to see how much faster they make this bike. Before we talk about wheels, a reminder of what this bike is all about. It's a second-hand CAAD 12 from Cannondale that I bought to see how much speed and performance I can eke out of a second-hand bike like this. And the first upgrade are the wheels and the tyres. When this bike was new, it cost about £1,500, and one of the corners cut to meet that price point were the wheels. This means the wheels are really heavy, well over 2 kilograms. I think we can do better. Now, upgrading the wheels on your road bike is one of the most impactful ways to improve the performance. It can lower the weight, give you better aerodynamics and boost the ride quality. But today, we're going to find out what difference they actually make. So I've devised a simple test to put these wheels through their paces and see whether the weight, the aero and the money is really worth it or not. The one downside to this bike, despite being only a few years old, is that we don't have through axles like modern bikes. We have quick release levers, and the rear axle spacing is narrower than a modern bike as well. But Hunt, and the reason I chose Hunt wheels for this video, are one of the few manufacturers that offer the entire range of wheels with any axle standard you want. And that made upgrading this not very old bike a cinch. You might think this video is sponsored by Hunt, but it's not. It's in fact sponsored by SquareSpace, the all-in-one platform to build a brand new website. SquareSpace makes it super simple, easy and quick to create a professional looking website. It starts with choosing a template, and there are loads to choose from, and then you customize the website to your requirements using a simple drag and drop interface. There are loads of tools and plugins for social media, e-commerce, newsletter, booking online courses, to build a website for anything you need, from selling cool bike products to a blog, portfolio and much more. The sky really is the limit with Squarespace. And if you want to try it before you buy it, you get a free trial using the link down below in the description. And if you enjoy it and want to take your website to the next level, you get a 10% discount using my code on screen now. You might think you have to spend big money on carbon wheels, get any sort of decent improvement in performance on your road bike, but aluminium wheels are definitely worth considering, especially if you're on a smaller budget. These weigh just over 1,500 grams, which is a massive saving over stock wheels. So a big weight saved on the scales, and would definitely improve the performance, the agility and the climbing responsiveness of this bike. But the best bit is they cost just £500, so a lot cheaper than most carbon wheels on the market these days. So bang for buck is really good with these wheels, and they have a great benefit of a high quality aluminium wheel set like these. Is if you are tough on equipment, these offer fantastic durability and strength, and if you're worried about carbon being fragile and not really up to hard abuse, these might be a more sensible choice. And now for some carbon fibre wheels, and don't they look much better than the aluminium ones? Really give this bike presence, and it looks fast, just stood still. Now on the scales, these wheels save a bunch of weight over both the aluminium wheels and the stock wheels. They weigh just over 1,300 grams, so a big weight saving, and that should really help on the climbs and make the whole bike feel more responsive and more agile. You do, however, pay quite a bit more money for that weight saving. These cost over £1,300, so about £1 per gram of weight. But that is cheaper than many high-end carbon wheels, so pretty good value, it has to be said. These wheels save weight not just from the carbon rims, but also the carbon spokes, which we're seeing increasingly on high-end wheels. So really smart looking wheels and save a bit of weight, and also claim to improve aerodynamics and ride quality as well. The other benefit of carbon fibre for a wheel set is not only the lower weight on the scales, but also the improved aerodynamics. We have a 44mm rim depth here, so a nice balance for low weight and outright aero. And these have been developed and tested in a wind tunnel and compare well, according to Hunt, to rival wheels in this space, and pair really well with a wide tyre like these 28mm wide tyres for optimum aero and that transition from the rim to tyre to create a nice smooth airflow. When it comes to aerodynamics, carbon fibre definitely has a trump card. You can create shapes that you just can't in aluminium. But Hunt, with these wheels, have managed to create a shape that mimics the carbon aero wheels with a 34mm depth rim that's nice and rounded and wide to offer, they claim, better aerodynamic performance than the rival aluminium wheels, and definitely more aero than the stock wheels that came on their bike. There is no getting away from the sheer performance of a carbon fibre deep session wheel. But the downside, if you ride somewhere windy, they can be a handful and really impact the way the bike rides. And that's where a shallow rim like these had the trump card. Definitely make them easy to live with if you're riding in very strong windy conditions and don't impact their handling in a negative way at all. So for the testing of these wheels, I devised a nice route with a few climbs, a descent and some flat sections to see what difference I can find with these wheels. And I'm using power and riding at the same power output of 240 watts. And we'll see which wheels are quicker, if they are quicker at all. But before I share results of that time testing, let's talk about ride quality a bit first, because as important as the speed against the clock is, ride quality is a big aspect of upgrading the wheels and a big reason why you would upgrade. And starting with the aluminium wheels, and I noticed a big difference straight away. That big chunk of weight saving gave the bike a much more sprightly, agile and responsive manner. The bike just came alive compared to those stock wheels. The enthusiasm of the bike wasn't dampened at all. Fast on the climbs, better through the corners, just a much more positive, much more engaging experience. So a really remarkable difference. And ride quality in terms of smoothness was also better as well. So a really big difference despite the same rim material. And then to the carbon wheels, and the weight difference was smaller than that initial jump to the aluminium wheels, but it's still there. But where the carbon wheels really impacted the performance was the speed. And they certainly felt faster, and that feeling was backed up by a lower power output at those higher speeds compared to either the aluminium wheels tested before. So way faster, just made a big difference and made the bike just feel so fast and so quick, and really not that much slower than a high-end modern aero race bike. Comfort and smoothness and dealing with rough roads and potholes were generally good with both wheel upgrades. The carbon wheels felt a bit firmer overall, but definitely weren't harsh and delivered a surprisingly smooth ride given how deep the rims are. So now let me find somewhere a bit warmer to dive into the results of that time testing and see whether better wheels means better speed. Right, I'm back home in my marginally warmer garage, but boy was it cold out there doing that testing. So let's dive into the results and the data and see what the numbers actually say. And the results may surprise you, but they may not. Now the course, as a reminder, was 9.5 kilometers long, sort of a typical rolling course for here in the Cotswolds, with a few climbs, a few descents, some nice corners and a flat section to finish. So a good test for the wheels, not super long, but long enough to repeat very easily during the same day and use a power meter to ride at an average weighted power of 240 watts. And we'll start with the stock wheels, the heavy, not very aero, pretty looking wheels. And I set a time of 19 minutes and 2 seconds with an average speed of 30 kilometers per hour, which is not too shabby at all for a bike of this price and these wheels. So definitely not slow on that sort of course. So that's a benchmark, that is the time to beat. Let's see what the £500 aluminium wheel set upgrade, these ones here, gained over those stock wheels. And to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting a big difference from these wheels to these wheels, because I mean, they're still aluminium, they're not very aero looking, but the results were actually quite surprising. The time for the £500 wheels was 18 minutes and 23 seconds, so much faster, and the average speed jumped a whole kilometre to 31 kilometers per hour, which over a short course is quite a big difference. And if you extend that to 50 or 100 kilometers, and the time definitely adds up. So quite a big saving from going to just a £500 aluminium wheel set like these. So I was really surprised and really impressed with the difference. And now to the carbon fibre wheels, which we expect to be faster, don't we? They look fast, they felt fast. So let's see what the time actually says and the numbers for the wheels. Well, I clocked a time of 17 minutes and 59 seconds, so a lot faster than the stock wheels and only a marginal improvement over the aluminium wheels, and the average speed jumped to 31.6 kilometers. So the carbon wheels gave the biggest improvement in speed, performance and time over the stock aluminium wheels on the bike. But the difference to the mid-range aluminium wheels wasn't as big as I thought it would be. I was really impressed with the improvement these wheels gave, and the carbon wheels only managed a small improvement over these wheels. So colour me impressed with the performance of the wheels. If you want outright performance, carbon fibre is clearly where it's at. They are the fastest wheels in my testing and gave the biggest improvement overall, and they look damn cool as well. But for the money, for £500, the performance of these wheels was seriously impressive. Not nearly as slow as I was expecting, much faster than the stock wheels and not much slower than the carbon wheels. A lower profile, rims are easy to manage in crosswinds, durable and tough as well. And the main takeaway, regardless of the wheels you choose, is that better wheels do make an improvement against the clock. They are faster, they feel better, and they look much better as well. So wheels are the best way to improve the performance of your bike, and you can do it at £500 or £1,300. Now this video wasn't sponsored by Hunt, so these wheels are going back to Hunt, but I think I might have to buy a set of these for my Project CAD 12 makeover, and the first installment in this test is complete with some nice new wheels and tyres for this bike. In my next video I plan to put a new group set on the bike, so stay tuned if you want to see that by hitting the subscribe button just there. And if you want to see my previous video on upgrading the wheels on a CAD 12 with rim brakes, then watch this video right here. But that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again very soon.